There has been a lot of controversy about the way the Game of the Year awards are going to select the games that are going to participate in the awards, and how these people are going to choose who gets to win these awards. And I'm making this video because I am tired of the fucking narrative these people are putting out. The people that is against the way this is being handled is spewing some fucking bullshit that I just can't stand, and I have to explain the situation and I have to refute their arguments. The reality is that they are half right and half wrong. That is the truth. They are not completely incorrect, but I think they are making or misrepresenting what is wrong with this situation to push their own narrative. Kinda like doing the opposite of what deranged leftists do, and I am not going to stay here and watch them just misrepresent the whole situation. So first of all, we have this guy named Grumps, which everybody knows who he is. He's on Twitter, and he writes, "The Game Awards is rigged from the start. 90% of the vote is from a voting jury. Guess who is on that jury? Pride, a web mag that doesn't even focus on games and exists solely to push activism. I wonder why they are on the panel. Storytelling is an act of resistance." It's a quote of that site supposedly. IGN, fans of quote-unquote everything is a 7 and quote Stellar Blade is killing women quote articles. NPR, famous for their quote-unquote neutral reporting and also little to nothing to do with video games. Kinda funny, whose Andy Cortez target Smash GT, the same Andy who called gamers misled by quote-unquote grifters for criticizing DEI. PC Gamer, who just published the BSADL report about Steam quote-unquote normalizing hate and extremism in gaming. None of this represents gamers or what gamers value. Most of these outlets have slandered gamers, gaslit them, or pushed for DEI in gaming. The Game Awards has really curious picks for the jury, and it has nothing to do with great games. Wukong and Stellar Blade will be snubbed, Dragon Age Veilguard will be lauded and propped up, it's all fake. And then he proceeds to put an image with the jury of this event that apparently the Game Awards removed, which is shady as fuck. And there is a quote that says how winners are selected, which basically explains that 90% of the vote is from the jury and 10% is from the fans. And this guy has an issue with that, just like Asmongold, right? They both have an issue with that. So now let's go into check out what Asmongold says about this subject, so we can have both opinions and then I can talk about them.
Winners are determined with a blended vote between a voting jury and public fan voting. So public fan voting is only 10% of the voting process for the Game Awards. So 90% of who's going to win the Game Awards is decided by a group of people that are, by a group of people that are not selected. These are not like in a lot of cases like gamers, right? Like, so they took this page down, but obviously it was there at the beginning. It's like they took the page down, but they're probably still gonna have like a fan, like these people voting. Like, I don't trust Kinda Funny, LA Times, I guess what's good, Variety or Pride or NPR to like these, do these different outlets, do they represent video game players? No, they do not. They don't represent video game players. What they do is they are media outlets, and I think Jeff Keighley has tried year after year to try to make this show seem like it's more of an official, like, Hollywood event. And I think in doing so, what he's ended up doing is he's taken a lot of the authenticity out of the show. Just for clarification, it's always been a jury vote, right? Well, I don't think that they've ever disclosed the percentage of it, and I think that there's always been a jury vote to an extent, but defining the extent as 90% is very problematic. And I don't want to see that. It's 10% audience. Yeah, I don't know if they ever said that it was 10% before. They did last year? Was it? It's always been like that? Yeah, well, either way, I think it was stupid then, it's stupid now. I already have. I decided my game of the year earlier this year. It's called Black Myth Wukong.
I think Asmongold is right and Grumps is right about the fact that the jury doesn't really represent gamers, doesn't really represent the best interest for gamers and video games in general. That is correct, but what is not correct is them criticizing that the awards are being selected by a jury. That is completely wrong. It is not stupid, it is not problematic, because that is the way that many of these competitions and events select a winner. Take for example the Olympics and other competition events. They always have juries because the immediate winner is not objectively clear. Like for example with a sport that has a scoreboard, a goal, or a finish line. So for those type of events, a jury is needed because reaching an objective conclusion, an objective result, it's difficult even for the experts, but more so for the average person. A jury is 100% needed, and the fact that they are even taking into account 10% of the popular vote is already more than what other events grant, because other events grant popular vote a 0% chance. There is 0% influence of the popular vote in other events. So having 10% already is more, and that is more than enough. If we are going to select Game of the Year as quality, as an outstanding video game, it needs to be selected by that, by quality alone, not by how popular it is. If we go to the other opposite direction, which is only popular vote, that means the whole thing becomes a popularity contest and not actual quality. Game of the Year should mean outstanding video games, or at best the best game of that specific year, if it's a very dry year for gaming like this year. So what is the problem in this situation? The problem is the members of the jury, not the system itself. So I agree that the jury they are picking for this event, it's fucking disgraceful, but that doesn't mean the system is wrong. What it means is we need a better jury. It kinda surprises me that these people live in the US and they have something called the Electoral College that was made with the specific purpose of preventing the tyranny of the majority, and they don't grasp the concept of this, the tyranny of the majority. Having popular something is not always good, because it's easy to manipulate narratives and society by manipulating the masses. Going away from a jury will just move us away from objective truth. Popular doesn't mean truth, or that something is correct or objective. This is a tool for the ones that want to control everything, that want to control our system and our society. A better jury is the solution. While no system is perfect, this is the best choice of the two options. Otherwise, just say Game Awards are just a popularity contest and that's it. Don't attach objective reality to the term Game of the Year, as it means actually the best game of the year, when in reality it will mean the most popular. While good games are popular, there are bad games or mediocre games that become popular for other circumstances other than being actually a good game. There is no system that is going to be 100% perfect. So as we are seeing right now, having a jury, a bad jury, is going to hurt the system, but that doesn't mean the system is bad. And actually, the jury system is much better because there are much less variables to control than when you attach the award to the popular vote. There are many things that can sway the popular vote in a way or the other. There are also many ways that can sway the vote of the jury, but it is easier to scrutinize and investigate a jury than millions of people. So using the argument that nothing is going to be perfect anyway, so either system is fine, it's not the truth and it's not correct, because popular vote means popularity contest. And if we are going to go that way, then the Game Awards should be specifically called the Game Popular Awards or something like that, that specifies that it is a popularity contest. But if we are going to attach Game of the Year, and to that term we're going to attach quality and the meaning of something outstanding, something that is relevant, something that is going to make history, then we have to have a jury, and a specialized jury that objectively analyzes this product, this game, and gives a rating and chooses a game based on that objective analysis, just like any competition that involves a jury. Imagine thinking that you can make the Olympic Awards a popularity contest. It will destroy all the meaning of the Olympics. It is the same in this case. The problem is not the system. The problem is the members of the jury. So change the members of the fucking jury. Don't ditch the fucking system just because it so happens that right now it's compromised. This is another example of how these days everything is polar opposites fighting each other to the fucking death, and what we lose in that stupid fight is objective reality, and they want you to lose objective reality. That's the goal. All of this is because these people, first of all, it is important to notice that the ones that are defending the popular vote just so happen to be influencers. Do you see that they may be really biased in favor of a system that they themselves can manipulate because they move shit tons of people? Do you see the issue there? These fucking bitches are influencers. They influence people, and they can go and by the name of their job influence the outcome of something. This is why they want this type of shit to be a popularity contest, because they can now exercise the tyranny of the majority, while in reality it's them pushing their own agendas, their own objectives as individuals to their fanatics, that serves as an echo chamber or as an amplificator of their own popular individual ideas and making them happen. These people are manipulating you. You don't even notice it because you're an NPC. Now, the other reason they are conveniently now asking questions is because their fucking game, Wukong and Stellar Blade, is not going to be part of the Game of the Year awards, or they are afraid they are not going to be part of the Game Awards. And frankly, those two stupid games don't deserve to be even nominated because they are fucking average slop. I have already made a Wukong review, 2 follow-ups debunking and refuting the stupid fanatic takes on that game, and another video explaining why Wukong is not Game of the Year, explaining and showing you how mediocre that game is, average at best. And Stellar Blade, let's just not pretend the only reason that game is popular is because my big titties. That's about it. And like I have always said, if the response to the deranged leftists, to the fucking mentally ill leftists, is making games that don't deserve to be Game of the Year, if the response is to hype games just because they are not woke, or because they have women with big titties and big asses out, and rate them higher just because of those two things, then you're also my fucking enemy. Because gaming is not about that. I am not saying gaming cannot have sexy women. I am not saying that. But when you are rating a game high, when you're giving a high score to a game just because of that, you're fucking retarded, simp, motherfucker mangina that can't be taken seriously. If you hate the deranged leftist so much that you are just going to give a good score to a game just because it's not woke, then you also cannot be taken seriously. How can you demand that these agendas are out of gaming, and then when you have the chance, now switch the opposite direction? No, fuck that shit. I'm not going to support that, and I am going to always push against that shit too. Gaming is about video games, gameplay, period. It's not about anything else. And if you're against that, if you're trying to derange video games into a political agenda, or basically making soft porn games, or just going to make video games about anything else but gameplay, then you're my fucking enemy, and you're the enemy of gamers and video games in general.